achieved excellent, so it will be worth you listening. If you haven't achieved excellent, it probably might be pushing you a little bit too far at the moment. Right, okay. If you can see at the bottom left-hand side, there's a chat room. Danny, there's quite a few of you already using it. If you want to ask a question as we're going through, please do. And any other comments if you can't hear me or sound is a problem or whatever. Okay, right, this is my first webinar and it's extremely, as David said, extremely odd talking to a PC knowing that people are listening and they can't respond to you. Right, okay, let's have a think. Why did we want to have Stretch? Well, the main reason we wanted to have Stretch was that the Quest board and an awful lot of organisations that we talked to felt in the old scheme that excellent was really quite easy to achieve and that we really needed to test the boundaries on leisure centres and sports development teams, which is why we introduced Stretch, which was the next level up from Plus. The other reasons we wanted to do it was that we decided that it was really important that we pushed the boundaries on impacts and outcomes, which really were not part of the old Quest at all. And whilst they are a big chunk of Plus now, we don't actually really home in on it. It's only a section of it. Sport England and the other home countries also thought that having Stretch was a good idea, and it would be a good idea to push sites that are already achieving excellent. This is a really long definition, but I do believe the presentation is going out onto the website for you guys to read later. But what I thought I'd do is I'd just briefly define how we perceive outstanding to be as a Quest board and organisation, because you might be thinking, what's the difference between excellent and outstanding? And whilst we were training the Stretch validators, it did come up in conversation an awful lot of the time. Oh, Mike said the presentation will be on the website on Wednesday. Excellent. Okay. Right, so these are the words that we think are extremely important for you as a centre to know that you are achieving within your organisation. Firstly, you've exceeded excellence, which obviously you've partly done by achieving excellent in Plus, which is really good. But have you gone beyond that? Are you motivated? Is the team motivated? And do you aspire to be better? Are you aware of what's good and what's bad in your organisation? And you are challenging and sharing those with other people. Are you prepared to fail? Are you prepared to be innovative? Do you do things differently? Do you think outside the box, or are you a centre that just follows along or follows what head office tells you to do and follow what the council tell you to do? Are you pushing the boundaries? Are you an organisation that has good management? Your practices are comprehensive and there is a culture of empowerment within the team. Do you have a track record of continuously improving, and do you have the evidence to demonstrate that? Are you pioneering, and are you cutting edge? And most of all, when we come in and assess you and validate you, are you different? Are you exceptional? And do you provide us with the wow factor? Okay, everybody happy so far? Everybody happy with my definition of outstanding, I hope. You can see why it is different from achieving excellent in Plus. We are really pushing the sites to be exceptional. Okay. Now this is the process of Stretch, and this is what you would go through. On year 1, you will have a Quest mystery visit, as you do within Entry and Plus. Then you will have, and this is extremely taxing, an unannounced Quest entry day. You will not know when the assessor is coming in to assess you, other than you will have a month window. If that month window, you know that there are particularly massive events going on, you've got an annual conference or a huge concert or something going on, then you'll let us know those dates when we can't come out and assess you. But other than that, could come out on a Sunday, we could come out at 6 o'clock in the morning, we could come out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, any day of the week. Then after that, you will get a validation day, and should you achieve Stretch, which will be fantastic if you do, you don't have any more assessments for another year, 2 years. The middle year, what we provide for you is a customer-focused MV. So year 2, there are no assessments, which is actually a massive benefit for going for Stretch. You get a year off. Okay, right. The mystery visit that you get in year 1 is the same as the Quest entry Plus MV. It will be an experienced mystery visitor that we send in that's been doing mystery visits for a long time, and they will really challenge your customer experience programming and standards. They really will give you a run for your money and ask you some awkward questions to make sure that you really do deliver to every person of a various program. Then we will come and do the entry. It may be the same person that did the mystery visit, it may not, but you must on this day achieve excellent. That means you must achieve excellent in health and safety declaration, business planning, continuous improvement, cleaning and housekeeping, maintenance and equipment, environmental management, customer experience, and staff training. You must achieve excellent across all of those. You don't have to achieve excellent every single module, but you have to achieve excellent overall. And that's quite a challenge. We have actually assessed a couple of centres who aimed to go for stretch, but couldn't actually deliver excellent on an unannounced day. Okay, then you do achieve excellent, you will then go on to have a validation day. Now here's the process spreadsheet. Hopefully you can see it on the screen, wonderfully designed by Dave Munkas. Well, hopefully you'll be able to see the process. So, unannounced mystery visit. If you don't get excellent on the day, nothing to be feared, don't worry, you just go back and you do plus day 2. If you do achieve excellent, you'll then have a self-assessment. You'll decide whether you're happy to go further, or you'll decide whether you want to stop and go back to plus 2. You have an option at that point to just change your mind. If you're happy to progress, you will then have your validation day with an experienced validator. And at that point, after that day, the validator will say, yep, brilliant, well done, you've got stretch, or actually, no, you're not ready for stretch, yet, and you'll go back to doing day 2 again. Okay, right. Any questions so far on the mystery visit and the unannounced entry? Everybody happy with how that's going to work? Nobody worried about that bit? Peter, Dave, Danny, everybody happy? I think so, haven't heard otherwise. Please feel free to type in a question in the box below. Right, Pete's happy, fantastic, I know you're still out there. Okay, right, moving on then. Now, this bit here is how we define what a validation is, and what's really, really different is assessors are very different from validators. Assessors are coming in, checking what you do, discussing what you do, you showing us, the centre showing us what we do, and us saying whether or not we think it hits the Quest criteria or not. What a validation is an independent review and a challenge of your self-assessment, your planning process, and looking at your organisation's judgments about how well you're doing. The review will be done by interviewing managers, staff, partners, clients, customers, and reviewing your documentary evidence. This information is then used to challenge or confirm judgments made, so enhancing your self-assessment process and sharpening your improvement planning. So basically what it's about is the person is validating what you have said about your organisation, which is very different from what we do as Quest assessors, which is not really looking at your self-assessment, it's what we perceive that you have or have not in place. Okay, right. You've got through your unannounced and your mystery visit. You've achieved excellent. The validator will be allocated to you and they will have a chat with you. And what you will need to do before that chat is decide what module you want to choose to do as part of your stretch validation day. The first thing you do is choose from either working with national governing bodies, legacy, skills / people development, or contribution to health and well-being. You have to do measuring impacts and outcomes. You don't have a choice on that one, but you can choose from one of the other 4. Now those 4 criteria are exactly the same as the plus modules on the website. So it does make sense if you've got an assessment before you go for stretch to choose one of those modules. Give it a go with a Quest assessor. At least you can get a feel for whether or not you're on the right path or not. Okay, right. The validator will phone you before you start thinking about doing your self-assessment. The validator will have a chat with you to make sure that you're happy about how to self-assess, what evidence you need to collect, what you need to provide to the validator, whether or not you can meet timescales and deadlines, and will help you prepare for the on-site visit and come up with a plan with you. We'll help you with the validation day, planning for it. We're not out to catch you out on stretch, we're out to catch you in. We really want to really want people to achieve stretch. It is very, very challenging, but at this point, this is the point where having a chat with the validator will help you decide whether you want to go forward with this or whether or not you want to go back and do day 2 of Plus instead. Okay, right. This is the pre-assessment preparation that you need to do for us. You need to, in no more than 1,500 words, do us a little essay, basically. A dissertation of why you think you are outstanding, based on the wow factor, the exceeding excellence, the aspiration, innovation, challenging words that we used earlier on. You will tell us about your improvement priorities and what you're doing to address them. This report will come through, actually I've put to the validator, it shouldn't come to the validator, it will come to the Quest office and they will send it to the validator. You will also be able to give us a brief appendix with key evidence that you want to show us. You will also make sure that you provide us with a list of all the people that you think we might want to talk to about your self-assessment that you've sent through and your story, how you want to demonstrate that you're a great site. Okay, completing a self-assessment. What you'll need to do, a bit like a brainstorming day, that's probably not PC, a lateral thinking blue cloud, Dave Monkhouse will correct me afterwards, I know. You'll complete a self-assessment. You need to bring in a cross-section of people that you think are important to giving you a real valid judgment on where you're up to, where you're at. It's not just the centre manager sat behind a desk writing up some words. It has to be a variety of people. It could include clients, it could include NGBs you work with, it could include frontline staff, it could include contract cleaners. It doesn't matter, but it has to be a cross-section of people to help you complete the self-assessment. They will need to give you informed judgment against the criteria that you've chosen to do. Measuring impacts and outcomes is compulsory, and then the second one, which you've chosen to do, staff development, legacy, working with governing bodies, one of those modules. Then you will record, I would suggest it will probably be quite a big document, there'll be lots of flip chart paper. You will pull those in together to make that little essay that you're going to send to the validator in the Quest office. Once you've done that self-assessment, you will then need to put how you want to achieve improvement into an improvement plan. As well as forming the basis of self-assessment, you can also use this self-assessment for lots and lots of other things, which can be used for client presentations, business planning processes, other things you might want to do. These can identify strengths and areas for improvement. It can identify and explain different people's interpretations. It can provide a basis for discussion going forward that you might want to use in other meetings, conferences, forums. It can set a baseline, and it can provide evidence of your commitment to service improvement. Okay, is everybody happy? Pete, are you still happy? I haven't heard from anybody else. I hope they're all still listening. Pete's still happy. Is anybody else out there? Dave's, yep, he's happy. Marvellous. And Danny's happy. Great, okay. The actual validation day. Now, please know I'm not a validator. The validators are people who've been validating for TEAS and other big picture stuff. So how they present on the day, I haven't sat in on one yet. Hopefully I will sit on one quite soon to see how they work. But basically, the validator will spend the day reviewing your self-assessment and the portfolio that you've built up, and will want to speak to various staff and stakeholders and focus groups, and this will be planned prior to the day. They will not drop it on you at the last minute. When they've spent the day with you, they will do a very, very simple report which will list your key strengths, your key areas for improvement and observations. It won't be a great big report like Quest Report because it's based purely on 2 modules. Assuming you pass, assuming you do well, we will not let you pick the same module again in 2 years' time. To demonstrate you are outstanding over an 8-year period, you will have chosen a variety of modules. You will not be able to keep picking skill development or legacy. You'll have to pick different things. Anybody got any questions so far? Because I've noticed I'm getting through my slides extremely quickly here. Anybody got any questions? Danny's fine? Anybody got any questions? Dave, have I said everything okay? Have you got any questions for me? No, nobody's got any questions. Right, let's carry on then. Okay, when you get your report, I've said that bit already, sorry. In fact, I think I'm probably through. Where did I get to? Sorry. Validation day. Scoring. Okay, with scoring, you have to pass each module. You can't pass one and fail the other one. Okay, if there are significant areas for improvement and the validator doesn't believe that you have reached the heights of stretch, they may ask you to send through some more information, or they may say, sorry, you're not actually ready. If there are significant problems and they don't think that you are up to your excellent status, then this will be discussed with the Quest office about how we take that one forward. We haven't had that situation arise yet. Everybody has been excellent, has remained excellent. If you score anything less than outstanding, you obviously go back to being excellent again, and we do J2. Is everybody happy with what we've said? Basically, what you need to do is you need to go through your Quest modules with a fine-tooth comb, really pulling together evidence that you want to show off. You may pick specific stories that you want to show off. You may pick big agendas. You may pick things that you've done well beyond what's in your contract and your specification. You may pick massive impact stories that have made a difference, not just in the centre but in the community as a whole. You may have a centre that's a hub within the community and has hosted all sorts of events, has increased participation in sport throughout your town, has reduced crime. I was at one centre the other day in Islington that opened its doors on a Saturday night free of charge to the young people of the town, and they have reduced crime rates on a Saturday night by 30%. Those are the sort of stories that really will not only make a difference with impact, which David was saying earlier on, but maybe something that you would pull together as part of legacy of that module going forward. Hopefully I've explained the process of how it will work as an assessment. Hopefully I've covered the things that you needed to know. If you want to go for stretch instead of doing a directional review or your next plus assessment, you can. You will just send us an application form ticking that you want to do stretch instead and the modules that you want to do. We will then allocate you a mystery visitor, an unannounced assessor and a validator, and then you should then start preparing your self-assessment regardless of whether or not you pass your unannounced. You need to be prepared, otherwise your window before you need to submit your self-assessment will be too small. So as soon as you tick the box for stretch, you should start thinking about your self-assessment. And even if you don't go through to carry on doing stretch and go back to plus, all of that information will be well worth your while doing for both your business development and for your next Quest assessment. So then the validator will call you and the ball will get rolling. On the website obviously are the modules that you need to go through. Oh, hold on a minute, somebody's written something. Let me just read what's been written. Pete, I have a few duty managers who'd like you to Go back through the process of the day of the unannounced visit. Can you run through the structure of the day and how that may impact on their role? Okay, the Quest unannounced visit will run exactly the same as a normal Quest entry. Different assessors will approach it in a slightly different way, but what is expected of the duty managers is that they have a good understanding of all of the 8 modules. So the duty managers and the team will need to have an understanding of business planning. They will need to know where to find the documents, how they're made up, and be able to tell the assessor of the involvement that they've had. They will then need to be able to obviously show audits, mystery visits, continuous improvement, what's been done to improve the centre over the last year or two. The duty managers will also need to be able to demonstrate on the day that the building is clean, cleaning regimes are in place, COSH is in place, housekeeping is good, checks have been done, fire doors aren't blocked, so the day-to-day stuff that you would expect to happen anyway has to be delivered on the day. The receptionists and all the staff need to be presentable, friendly in uniform and name badges if that's what you do. And obviously with maintenance, the day-to-day checks will need to be in place. If for some reason we ask you for a planned maintenance programme and you don't have it on site, that's not the end of the world, as long as you know that it is on site and you can possibly either get it for us during the day or get it to us afterwards. We can see information afterwards for Stretch. And then in terms of customer experience, we will obviously be quizzing you on the contents of the mystery visit. The duty managers must be aware of the customer feedback processes, all the different ways that customers can feedback and how you deal with it. We basically would expect that the duty managers in a centre going for Stretch are potentially aspiring or capable of being a centre manager, maybe of a smaller site or a different site. But there should be duty managers who are competent enough to run that building without a centre manager there. Not just on a day-to-day operational level, but aware more of strategic council objectives and more about the future and improvements that the centre are making as well. The duty manager will be able to make plenty of cups of tea for the assessor and make sure that they're okay and they see the right people at the right times. And what the assessor will do at the beginning of the day is give you a programme for the day. So you will know what modules they're going to do when, and you have the opportunity to pull any relevant staff in that you need to. What you can't do, and this has happened at one site where we did a stretch assessment, is prepare a beautiful presentation that you're hoping to wow the assessor with for the first hour while you get on the phone quickly to every Tom, Dick and Harry from head office to get the troops on board as quick as possible. The assessor will not let you do that. The assessor wants to go straight in, as they only have a window to go through the 8 modules. So please don't prepare nice glossy presentations for your assessor. Pete, am I answering your questions for your DMs before I go on to Dave Tenney's question? Are Pete's DMs happy? Daunting experience, very, very different from a Quest Plus because you can't prepare for it. Oh, they've all gone pale and shocked. I'm so sorry. You run excellent sites, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. Just make sure that from a day one point of view, you've audited yourself to death on those modules and that you all know you can deliver on the day. Just those 8 day one modules. Do not worry about the day 2 modules. That's for the management to worry about. Okay, Mike's smiling at me. Dave Tenney, could we opt for an unannounced visit and then do Plus and Stretch? Yes, you could. If you put on your application form that you want to go for Plus, but you want day 1 unannounced and day 2 announced, that's not a problem at all. Obviously there will be a gap between the two, but we will let you know when your Plus date will be, but we won't tell you when your day 1 is going to be. So yes, you can have a go at that. You could also, if you want to, just have a go at some unannounced days before the real thing, if you wanted to have a go at that. Or you could just challenge yourself and audit yourself. Maybe somebody come in. Maybe Pete need to pop into your centres on a Saturday or Sunday and catch them out and do some modules on a day like that. What you can do, as I said, is you can tell us if there are particular days when we can't do it because you've got big things going on. We are all human and we have all operated leisure centres, so we do appreciate that you. Pete's gone pale as well. What you can do is you can. I've lost my track now. Sorry, guys. What was I saying? No idea. No idea what I was saying. Has anybody else got any other questions? Anything else they think I haven't covered? Anybody got any other questions? What about you, Danny? Are you up for stretch? Whilst hopefully some of you are typing with anything else you've got left to say, can we just say that we've only got one centre at the moment that has got stretch, and that centre was a pilot site as well, and they did do extremely well, and they did bowl over both the mystery visitor and the unannounced assessor and the validator, so they were really, really quite well prepared. You do need to be mega prepared for it because you are showing off, and what I have found, and I don't know if others will agree with me, that our previous structure has very much been with Quest, that we're looking for areas for improvement, and centres are very good at telling us what they don't do through their improvement plans and things. And there's a real change in this one of you becoming a real car salesman, really beefing up what you do and pulling out all the good bits rather than worrying about the bits we don't do. Danny's going to go for stretch in about a year. That would be fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And Peter, what's the cost of an unannounced visit as a trial day? £450 plus expenses. And obviously, if you did extremely well, maybe we could just not do another one and do your validation day instead. Oh, I'll probably be in trouble for saying that one. Okay, right. If anybody else, unless anybody else has got any questions. The main thing to do is to really read the modules for the day 2, read those modules and really, really sit and scrutinise and think about how you deliver and what you do differently, what makes you remarkable and different. Any other questions? If everybody's happy and has got no more questions, please ping me a note on the chat, and by all means give me a call anytime regarding any queries that you have regarding stretch. And I'm running out of things to say, I'm afraid. And I do believe my child's just come through the door, so he's bound to annoy me in a minute, knowing that I'm on a webinar. He'll probably want to come and interact with everybody. All right, has anybody else got any more questions? Have I covered what you wanted me to cover in this session? Thanks, Dave. Great, thank you. Thanks, Peter. I hope your duty managers are not quite so pale now. Have they got a bit more rosy? Thanks, Danny. Great to hear from you. Please ring if you need anything. The presentation will go on the website. I do have some more information available, a bit more detail on the actual modules of how you can deliver. If you want those, we can send those through to you as well. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and good luck with stretch. I'm sure all of you will do wonderfully well. Thanks again, and I'll speak to you all soon.